Check, double check.
Microphone check, 1, 2. What is this?
Damn, it's hot.
It's like Africa.
You want water?
I don't want your damn water. Get vanilla sky.
Oh my God, it's hot. Hey guys, Omar here, and today we have Mo again.
Hey guys.
And we sound so good.
Awesome.
We're trying something out. We're actually trying to plan a little podcast, but oh my God, it's so hot in here.
It is super hot. It is like, you see this? This is real. This is all real.
So I don't have air in the studio, and we're just doing like a couple of audio tests and camera tests, and because
ball head reflection test.
It's so, but we're rookies at the podcast game, so we're testing out audio. That's what this episode's about. We're also testing out just ideas, and we love hanging out. You know, we did an episode before together. So
the link will be below. It's really funny. It's hilarious.
We're still working on like possible podcast themes, but what do we have so far?
We have technology, we have art, we have photography, and I'm scratching myself like I have fleas.
You know, it's funny. It's like you with these headphones, you listen. You're like listening to yourself, aren't you? So Mo is like, hi there. He doesn't really know.
This is NPR Radio. Welcome aboard. Thank you for being here. It's too hot for that.
It's so hot. All right, we're going to get through this episode. And so in this episode, So we're
going to talk about life, food, photography, and some tech stuff throughout the course of it. That's our plan. That's our goal. And if you guys have some ideas, you know where to put them.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like Mo's a great expert at like phones and tech. And so the podcast will be mostly gadget based, photography, yes. But also we love hanging out. So food and movies and
just life, real life. Yeah.
And any kind of audio faux pas. We're still working out the kinks. All right. So in today's episode, we are going to do a quick one because it's so hot for this test. We're going to do mistakes that we made that we can laugh about now, but not top mistakes. We just made a quick list of mistakes that we've made, and hopefully it'll help you out to prevent from you doing them.
If you make the mistake we're about to talk about, that's your mistake.
It's your fault. First one is gear. We're going to talk about gear mistakes, and I think when I first started photography, I made a lot of gear mistakes. So what do you think about that?
The very first thing that every photographer, once they decide I love photography, I'm going to do photography, is I got to buy all the photography. I got to buy every bit of it. I need that Young-Yo. I need that ProMaster 1754. What is it? I don't know. I need it. And that's the whole thing. We watch a YouTube video. We see some person using it. I'm like, why am I not using it with my Nikon 3300?
And I think I'm like a quick, with the buy it now button. It's like read a bunch of reviews, see the YouTube video, and I convinced myself that when I first started, and a little bit still.
Yeah, we all do it still. But the whole thing is, we kind of now have a better understanding of when we're buying something, we're more on something that we're already researching, something we need.
Yeah,
Back then, it's like, look, it's blue. It's blue.
Totally. And I think I was like that with flashes at first. Like you said, the Young-Yos, and then the triggers, like the little 620, 603
radio
triggers.
And then who makes
the cactus? Like,
oh my God.
The beginning, I had like the little eBay cactus, and they're terrible. If I would have
Cowboy Studio.
Yeah, the Cowboy.
Well, listen, you guys were wonderful when I was brand new. Don't get me wrong. For the $20 that we spent, we got our money's worth.
Oh, for sure. When you're first learning and everything.
Yeah, but then when you got those first few fails, when you really needed them.
Yeah. And then I started watching a lot of Creative Live, and they had the best gear, like Pro Photo lights and all that. And
did you know that Omar and I both have been on Creative Live?
Oh, yeah.
Just in case.
I was on Sandy Pucci's baby photography.
And I was on Don Giannotti's photography lighting. So check those out. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. We'll link them up below. Along with that, one of the mistakes that I made a lot of was just when I first started, bringing everything. Like I remember I had the 70-200 f4 lens, which was big, but I wanted a wide, a prime, a 70-200, and a 24-70. So I had like a backpack, and now I'm so not one. That's why I'm all about the Fuji X-T20.
It was just a matter of time.
I think I'm so about like not bringing it and just having like one prime lens and forcing myself to not have a lot of gear. It's so much more fun. Part of me still wants to pack everything. Like we went to Washington, D.C. I had a wide, I had a super. So part of me is still there, but at least it's like smaller gear. Mm-hmm. And before I should just bring everything. So that was a big mistake.
Right. I still do it. Like I shoot my Nikon D800, and this weekend I forced myself to go out with just my 85. Do you know how hard that was? But how fun it was.
Yeah,
I got some really amazing shots. I'll make sure that Omar posts at least one or two of those later. Maybe not. I'm over promising for him. Anyway,
what are those videos called where people whisper the ASPR?
And NPR. The NPR radio. Thank you for being here.
No, there's a genre of, you don't know this exists.
I didn't, I guess.
It's very creepy, but if you look up, I'll put on the screen what it's called. It's like it stands for something, ASPR or whatever, but people buy microphones and they whisper into them.
That's creepy.
It's so creepy. And then they do stuff like they'll brush your hair. Yeah. I'm gonna send you one. Oh God. Back to the gear thing. I had an event where my 17-40 broke, like the zoom on it broke, and I was forced to do the rest of the event just with a 35.
Wow.
And some of those were like my best photographs because I was sweating more than I am now.
That's a tough gig right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I made it work. And I think part of that is like when you go out on the street doing street photography, people stress over 35 versus 50. It's like, you know what? Just bring one.
And also, it's about knowing your gear. So Omar luckily has shot with it, practiced with it. He knew what he could expect to get out of it.
Great point. Okay, cool. Number 2, the second mistake that I made as a brand new photographer is just going out there and not having a purpose.
So like you went out there and just shot everything in front of you?
Yeah, like joyously, like door, dog,
mom. No. Put some clothes on. Sorry.
We went dark, like so dark. That was funny. Oh my God! Like,
it's not me.
I think one thing that is better that I do try to do now is to have like a little bit of a theme. So if I'm walking around New York, I'll try like just bicycles. So look for like bicycle messengers, grunge on the gears. There's bikes everywhere in New York. Or anything like that, just to have a purpose.
That's a real good idea. Like, I mean, going out there and specifically saying today, not necessarily picking the subject before you get out there, but when you get out there and you find the first thing you like, you shoot that.
That's a good point.
Then you say, I'm going to make this my subject for this
red
week, for this day.
Yeah.
And I love locks.
Yeah.
That's random.
The bagel locks?
Locks. No, yes, red bagel locks on the door.
Awesome. Okay, number 3, we'll talk about some of the professional stuff that we've had to deal with. Those of you that maybe are starting out, maybe charging for your work. The third one is... I call it checklist, but in the beginning, being careless as far as like what to bring.
Yeah, making sure that you make sure that if you're shooting a wedding, that you have a memory card. Very important.
For sure.
For sure. So that comes from an actual nightmare that happened to me. I have the Nikon D800, and it houses a CF slot as well as an SD slot. I had emptied out 3 of my FC cards in between 2 shoots, went home, emptied it out. CF cards.
Yeah.
What I meant. So I went home and I figured I have time between my shoots to unload the data so I could refresh my cards and go back and use them. I was running late, left the house with a 32 gig SD card only to shoot another wedding. And so talk about picking and choosing what pictures I took. It was...
Yeah, luckily mine wasn't that bad. I mean, I have forgotten batteries before, and luckily that's something you could get at like the 7-Eleven or anything, so extra batteries. But I think now that we've done a bunch of jobs, one of the things I always recommend is like you have a checklist, but it's really more like a mental checklist. What do you have in the car that you're looking at that can get the job done? For example, I know I checked the bag that has the batteries, at least 2 flashes. I've got 2 cameras, and there's memory cards in them. I just look at the minimum that if I had to. Right. And then if I forget gaff tape or the stupid little mount to my tripod, which has happened, by the way, the little mount, I can't do any tripod shots. I know I could survive.
Right. Bare minimum, but at least have the right equipment. So like Omar said, before you roll, you always have to open your bag, look what's in it.
I thought you were going to rhyme there. Before you roll,
you got to be like Mo.
Number 4, back to being a pro. I think when we all start, we struggle with pricing. And that goes with undervaluing yourself and overvaluing yourself. So which one do you want to talk about?
So I will say under. Okay. So as we all all out there who are thinking about going pro or start charging for your work, the very first problem I had was, what do I ask for? What do I charge?
Yeah, I know. In the beginning, you don't want to charge that.
You want the work.
You want the work, but also the lack of anxiety from saying, I'll do it for free. It just,
it becomes real. So like, listen, I want, you know what? I'll charge you $25 and I'll shoot your 8-hour wedding, you know?
Yeah.
And then you realize in hour number 2.
But do you think that's cool in the beginning?
Oh, listen, to be honest with you, I did free work in the beginning.
Yeah.
I did a bunch of weddings for free. We shot a wedding when I first got started for $200.
One?
It was $200. I think I gave most of my profit to my second shooter, but
wow.
But again, it was because I needed the experience. They needed a photographer.
They were young. They didn't have a lot of money. So it's like the perfect situation.
It worked out for everyone, where we all got to test stuff, learn more, and you would never really charge $100 for an 8-hour wedding, but the circumstances worked out.
In the beginning, it's not undervaluing yourself. It's like getting your foot in the door, and it relieves so much anxiety if the person on the other side understands.
Yeah, if they give you $100 expecting $3,000 worth of work,
then it's got to be someone who
means there's communication. That's the key.
For sure.
If you're starting out, plenty of people will let you do their stuff for free, but you have to tell them, I'm starting out. I'm going to do my very best. But
there's that risk.
There's a risk
for sure.
I think as you communicate that, the very beginning, you're not undervaluing yourself, but then 5-6 weddings in, you kind of have to stop giving them away for free or for $25.
For sure. Yeah. Especially if you want to make it a career or it's like a side job where you have like a little extra cash. The best way is to know what you want. We could go through a whole episode on finances, but pretty much you want an idea of how much you want to make over a year, and then figure out your hourly rate. Like, you have to know what you're worth hourly, and then figure out, hey, 8-hour wedding, but like 20-hour edit because you're terrible at it, and sort of have a lower hourly rate at the beginning where you're like $50 an hour, and then just up it as you get better to have an idea of what to charge people. And
you'll realize when you're getting better, because people see you work and they'll want to hire you. You won't have to ask them.
For sure.
So once you start seeing that happen, you need to rethink your pricing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, in that same vein, some people, I think, overcharge. Like, they don't really know their skill set. And I've seen that before.
You kind of see that mostly when people are still editing within like Picasa, and they're charging you like $3,000 for a birthday
party.
Not
that there's anything wrong with Picasa.
No, but
not sponsored by.
But you don't want to, again, you need to know your skill level. And if you don't, the easiest way to do that is ask people you trust for a valuable opinion. You can't have people that will pat you on the back and say, "Great job, Timmy,"
because everyone does. You're
like, "Thanks, Mom." No, you need to find someone who will. And there's plenty of people out there that will look at your work and give you an honest evaluation of whether you're ready to start charging full prices, or hey, you really need to touch up a couple of things here. So it doesn't matter what your equipment is. It's your eye. It's your knowledge of the shutter to aperture values and stuff like that. Your lighting.
I'll even add to that how you treat the subjects, the grandmother at the event, like how you make people feel is really important too.
When you leave an event, this is something side note altogether. Like this, I had a wedding yesterday. When I left the event, people were sad to see me leave. That's when you know you're ready. Almost.
If you can put your arm around grandma at the end of the night and, she's laughing and loving you, where's this going?
I don't know. We just ran 5 blocks off course.
No.
Abort.
What I mean is grandma had a great time,
I love you all, Ma.
This one goes for the older photographers. I think like not being physically ready for the job is important. Like, I think get us, we're in our 40s now.
Yes, we are. So, the whole point is like you have to think more than just, what gear you're bringing. You also got to think about the gear that I bring with me all the time. Is that going to be ready? Am I hydrated? Did I eat something? Did I eat something I probably shouldn't have eaten?
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah, it's very important. You don't want to have the bubbles, what they're saying I do.
It's so true. One of the videos I made was like, what's in your bag? And no joke, anti-diarrhea pills are in the bag.
I have them too.
Because of mistakes I've made.
Yeah.
Big mistakes. steaks.
Shawarma is not a pre-wedding meal.
So that's totally true. And I think physically also backs start to go, and if
knees barking.
And you can talk about some of your physical issues that you have.
With my MS, yep. So,
Yeah,
I mean, obviously extreme heat and carrying all that gear, normally I'm already at 85% of what everybody else is at.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know or are unaware, multiple sclerosis is a disease. John has it. He lives with it. He fights it. And it is a physical disease. And we're actually doing a
Muckfest run. Muckfest run. Words are hard.
Not sponsored by, but we're doing like a fun mud run, which is
sponsored by.
We'll link it below if you want to,
like
as a little tip jar, if you want to sponsor us or give a little bit of money.
That'd be awesome.
No pressure whatsoever.
None whatsoever. Sponsored by the Multiple Sclerosis Society, and it'll be July 21st, like you said.
Awesome, and we'll make sure we post pictures and give a follow up. But how do you deal? I mean, I know my back hurts at the end of a night because I have a bag and. But one of the mistakes that I used to make was not stretching, not preparing, not actually cycling 2 days before to have my legs.
Right.
So it's got to be harder for you.
Yeah. So I kind of do the same thing. I kind of don't work out before an event that I know is going to be involving more than 2 hours of my time. So there's no working out before that. Plenty of rest as much as I can. Staying hydrated. And, it's very important because, the hardest thing about being open about my MS is getting work with people that will trust me to be there. So it's very important that when I have a commitment, I'm able to make it and get through it. So again, what triggers yourself either through my MS or in general, like Omar said, if you have a bad back, you can't go running, you can't go biking. You have to be mentally and physically prepared because it's a grind.
As you get older, you young guys out there, young gals, you got nothing. I mean, you don't know how it is, but I mean, you pick up gear the wrong way. And if you have a wedding to shoot and you have a pinched nerve, forget it.
It's going to be a long night. Photography is a full workout for you mentally and physically. I mean,
for sure.
So for all you people out there that are new to it, it's just things to think about.
If you want to do it professionally, if you are still enjoying yourself doing photography, I mean, Zach Arias said it best. He's like, how do you know the difference between an amateur and a pro photographer? If you have a camera, if you love to have it with you, if you love to take pictures, you're an amateur. If you do not want to bring your camera anywhere, you may be a professional. So he said it really well. Hopefully you're bringing your camera everywhere. I had a great time, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Glad to be here. So again, let's get some ideas if you like this format.
Yeah. I mean, we're thinking of starting our own YouTube channel for the podcast video. And we're still working out the kinks. This was all for fun and it's photo based, but let us know if you're excited about it because we have a great time every time we're together. So
even with sweat's wonderful.
Oh my God. This chair.
Can you guys hear the sweat coming off of us? It's awesome.
I think I'm stuck to the chair.